Welcome to another All Things Tennis racket review. Today we're going to do a range review with Lily. We're going to look at the 95, 98 and 100 inch VCORE. This is the new Sand Beige colorway, which is out later in the year, okay, depending on when you're watching the video. You currently use the 98. Yeah, and we talked about it in a previous video, but why did you choose the 98?
I think it just gave me the perfect amount of, power and control together, and it just, really suits the way I play.
Yeah. And then previously, before the 98, you were a 100 player. When you first came to YONEX from Wilson, what was it that made you go for the 100?
I think this one, it really gave me a lot of power.
Yeah.
And maybe a few years ago, I wasn't as strong as I am now. So I was looking for a racket that gave me that pop.
Yeah.
And this one was the one that provided me with it.
So this is a bit of a unique racket. You might not have used it before. It's a 95. With a 95, interestingly, you think really, really controlled frame. But when it comes to YONEX's 95 and the isometric head, it doesn't play like a 95, at least for me. It plays more like a 97 or a 98. You've got a 16-20 pattern versus a 16-19 in the other ones. It's a super fast feeling whippy racket. It's actually one of my favorite rackets that are on the market. It would be interesting to see how she gets on the different rackets today, what the effect is on her ball and which one she likes moving forward. Make sure you come down and see the Westway store, our new store in West London, where we're filming at today. 7 indoor courts, pay and play, shop and play some tennis. So first impressions then, hitting with a 95. Do you notice the change in head size?
Not too much. Maybe like the frame, the beam is a bit thinner,
Yeah.
so it feels a little bit different in my hand. But in terms of actual striking, not too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, I'd say less power on this one.
Yeah.
But the control is really nice.
It looks really good. You looked quite grooved hitting with that. Didn't need to change anything. You've got the 16-20 string pattern here versus 16-19. It's a racket for me. The more you give it, the more control and spin you're getting out of it, really. Like, it really shines when you're going for your strokes with that sort of racket. We'll hit a few more balls with it to kind of dial you in. But yeah, in terms of this versus your 98, obviously the smaller head size, it's 310 grams unstrung versus 305 grams, but it feels super quick in the hand for me, really whippy. One of those rackets for me, the 95, I'm a bit biased. I think it's like a hidden gem because not everyone thinks 95. You're looking at specs on a racket and you're thinking, that's not for me, I can't play with a 95. But like for me, it gives you that control when you're going for those shots, like you're revving up, hitting a bit of a high ball, you're getting that arc on the ball naturally from the VCOREs. It's a spin friendly racket. It's not the traditional 95, but how do you find it?
Yeah, for sure. When I really let go of my shots, it definitely gave me a lot back to me actually, which I wasn't expecting, like you said, because usually you think of a 95 being really stiff and really quite a difficult racket to play with, but this one I felt pretty comfortable with. Yeah.
You looked very grooved with it, and like as you're going for your shots there, you don't feel the sensation the ball's going to fly with you on that because you got the extra cross and the smaller head size. You do get that control. I'll give you the 100 now. It's going to be miles different, but more used to what you used to play like, maybe. A little bit more power on the frame naturally. Or it's worth saying these have all been strung exactly the same, okay, with Polytour Pro 125 at 52. So we're trying to get a real genuine appraisal on what the racket does to Lily's game and how it's affecting her strokes. So in terms of the 100 then, effortless power, you're just timing the ball off the bounce and getting huge amounts of power. But what is the downside of that power compared to your 98? Is there one?
I'd say, sometimes you don't feel as in control of the ball as you'd like. So you don't really know when the ball's going to fly, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does give you easy power, especially I think when you're defending and stuff. It's nice to just kind of let the racket do the work for you.
You look super relaxed with it, like timing the ball.
I think the pros and cons of it. Yeah.
So say for example, what sort of player does that suit? If you've got the 100-inch head size, and obviously the VCORE, you've got huge spin potential, what sort of player does it suit? I'd
say either, I mean, mainly, sorry, I'd say players that are looking for more power in their games. Maybe, players aren't as powerful, or that need the racket to do a little bit of work for them. Although saying that, I think a lot of players, especially on the girls' side, do use the 100s, even the powerful ones. So I think it's more down to preference. Even Casper Ruud, doesn't he?
Exactly. He uses the EZone 100, but it's interesting. There's not like a, obviously for Lily, the 98 is giving her more control. She looked very dialed in with the 95 as well, and the 100 swinging the same. She's got that more depth on her stroke, so maybe the ball's flying on her a bit more in terms of depth control. But yeah, there's not like a genuinely easy thing to understand. We're moving up to 100. You've got someone like Casper Ruud, maybe it's because he's coming up the back of the ball a bit more spin, but the VCORE 100 has got to be probably the most popular frame on the ladies tour, probably more popular than the 98, I'd say, and definitely more popular than the 95. So for you, it's giving you that easy power, but that sort of control you're needing. Now you're dialed in with a 98, you're losing that control, is that right?
I think, and with my game, I sometimes like to mix in like slice and sometimes come into the net as well. And I think with that, the 98 gives me a bit more precision with those kinds of skill shots. Yeah,
so the weights, this is a 300 gram frame unstrung. You've got the 305 grams in the 98 and a 310 in the 95. In terms of how they feel in the hand, because you've got a static weight, and then you've got the way it feels in the hand in terms of the swing weight. How do they feel? Do they feel similar?
Yeah, I'd say not too different, to be honest. Even the 95 didn't feel too heavy for me. Once you swing, it's fine, I think.
And that's the thing. When Andy Murray recently changed to YONEX, he said he tried out all the rackets, right? All the different brands. He wasn't sponsored, and he chose YONEX in the end because all of the weight control is amazing. They're all handmade in Japan, and they keep that weight tolerance really, really, really small. So you can know, do you add weight and lead to your current frames, or do you?
I don't actually. I think so. Mine's 305, 306 unstrung.
So just the standard 98. Interesting. Okay, perfect. So out of the ones you tried today, what is the racket you're most likely to use and why?
I'd say the 98, just because, it's what I'm used to, and also it just gives me kind of what I need, just the right amount of power and control. But I did actually really enjoy the 95 as well, which is something I've never really tried. But yeah, maybe if I get used to it, then it might be a good racket for me as well.
Yeah. The way you're hitting the ball, you look like you had super control with the 95. It's obviously a little bit less power, but you can, with your natural technique, you can achieve that power, the speed of your swing. Okay, perfect. So one question I'm going to ask you, when you're changing rackets, right? I often think with pros, they end up using the same racket. It's a big thing for a pro to change a racket because it's a mental game as well. It's trusting your equipment completely. How hard is it for you to change your racket, and how long would that period take for you to be like go into Wimbledon with a new racket? How many months of play would it need to be?
Yeah, I think it varies from person to person, but I think for me, I'd probably need at least a couple of months of training and match practice as well to fully be comfortable with another racket, especially if it's a big change, like head size and things like that. But yeah.
And how long is your off season?
Probably about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, I
wonder how that's why pros don't change, because if you need that 2 months and you've got 6 weeks, you're going into January straight into Australian Open big tournaments, trusting a new racket. But well, good luck in your racket testing. It'd be interesting to see if you play more with the different frames, how you like it.
Yeah, thank you.
So thanks for watching to the end of the video, guys. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the channel so we can give you more videos like this today. And thanks to YONEX and Lily for making this happen today.